Hello, everyone. And a mental health coach. I'll be a guest at the Corporate Life Show with Adeniyi Macarthy this Friday, 15th September 2023. I'll be discussing managing stress and anxiety for optimal well-being in this new economy. You wouldn't want to miss it. Please join us this Friday. It promises to be exciting and interesting. See you there. Hello everyone, I am Omotola, Counselling, Psychologist and a mental health coach. I'll be a guest at the Corporate Life Show with Adeniyi Macarthy this Friday, 15th September 2023. I'll be discussing managing stress and anxiety for optimal well-being in this new economy. You wouldn't want to miss it. Please join us this Friday. It promises to be exciting and interesting. See you there.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is another Friday here at the Corporate Life Show with Mcaden. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. And I'm sure a lot of people are waiting and you are standing by to join us on the conversation tonight. It's going to be a power-packed one. I share a story with you guys on the social media space this morning about a friend I lost like a month ago, and it was so painful. And that's one of the reasons why we'll be discussing this important topic today. Today, it is another Friday. Please, before we dive into the conversation, before we start talking about what should benefit you as a professional, as an entrepreneur, as an individual, as a family, please drop a comment. Let's get to meet you. Let's get to know where you're joining us from tonight. Remember, I am your host. I'm your host at the Corporate Life Show with Mcaden. Today we're discussing managing stress and anxiety for optimal well-being in the new economy. And this topic is very timely. It's a topic for this season and time. I don't know what you have there, but then before we go on, before I introduce our guest for tonight's discussion, please just drop a comment in the comment section. Let's get to know who is joining us live right now, who is excited about this show tonight. I can see, yeah. I can see Abolade, Alalade Shimilori. Thank you very much, Alalade Shimilori, for joining us on the conversation tonight. I'm very sure, please, as you join us in this conversation, because you won't want to be selfish to keep the information we'll be sharing tonight to yourself. You would like to have your friends, your loved ones, your colleagues, your people in your contact list join us in the conversation tonight. For you to be able to join us right now, it means that you have access to the link. Please share. Start sharing the link and start inviting your friends to join us for tonight's conversation. It's going to be a power-packed one. It's going to be an interesting conversation. I can promise you, my guest is here on the show with us tonight, and she'll be doing a lot of what? Sharing insightful, giving us so many interpretations toward stress management, and then telling us things that we do that we kind of overlook such things, so that we can live a better life as a professional. And remember, this is what we do at Corporate Life Show. We bring in guests to talk, to have discussions, to have conversation around topics that really affect us as professionals and as individuals. And tonight is no exception. And that is why tonight we'll be discussing. We are deliberate about our topic for tonight. It's about you as a person. It's not even about your organization. It's not about your work. It's not even about the money, how much you are earning. It is about you. Tonight's discussion is about you. So that's why we would like to hear from you. As you join us, as you continue with us, as you continue to learn from us, as you continue to listen to us on the show tonight, please quickly drop a comment. Let's get to know where you are joining us from. Let's get to know where you are watching us from, and let's get to know what you are doing currently from anywhere you are watching us. Maybe in traffic, you may be in Lagos, you may be outside Lagos, you may even you may even be outside in country, Nigeria. So anywhere you're joining us from, just drop a comment. Let's get to know where you're joining us from and what you are doing currently. Remember, this is Corporate Live Show with Mcaden. Every Friday evening, we come live here on this studio. In this studio to discuss this kind of topics that will really impact life positively. And as you join us tonight, please drop a comment. And if you're watching us, for those that are watching us on YouTube live, please don't just watch us. Kindly follow us. Click the notification bell to notify you of every time we come live or anytime we drop a content. Of course, we always drop content that will impact you positively. So because of our time, I just quickly want to have us dive into the conversation tonight. And this conversation is going to be an interesting one. I can bet with you it's going to be a life-changing conversation. It's going to be a life-saving conversation. And that is why I am encouraging you to stay tuned to the end of the conversation tonight. It's going to be interesting. So don't leave. Don't turn that screen. Don't change that screen. Stay here. Stay put here where you can get and gather information that will better your life, and you will be able to live a meaningful life as a professional or as an entrepreneur. Whoever you are, health really matters, and it depends on what you know. That will determine how well you will live. And tonight's discussion is going to help you do better with that. So tonight we're discussing, as I said earlier on, we'll be discussing an important topic that will be changing your life. That will be guiding your thought process, your actions, how you relate with things around you, how you handle even yourself as an individual, so that you can live a better life and you'll be able to live a productive life. So tonight we are discussing this topic, and my guest on the show tonight is no other person than Omotola Akinwale. Thank you very much, Omotola, for joining us on the show tonight. Omotola will be joining us right now. Oh, you can see Omotola right away there. So Omotola, thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah, I can see you're smiling. Your smile is and let me try to smile too. So our audience will be excited to hear from you tonight. And I'm sure you are ready for us tonight. How do you feel, Omotola?
Very ready. It's always a privilege to share knowledge. It is always a privilege. So I don't take this for granted. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Thank you for joining us.
All right, good evening. Thank you for joining us. That is from Omotola Akinwale, who will be our guest tonight, discussing this topic with us. Sharing insightful knowledge, things that you actually would have taken for granted if you were not on this show tonight. So as you join us, please drop a comment. Let's get to know who is joining us. The only way I can track you right now, because I'm in the studio, is when you drop a comment. When you drop a comment, no matter who you are, if you don't drop a comment, I won't know. And as you join us, please keep giving us thumb ups, share your love with us. Let's get to know. Let's have that feeling. Let's have that vibe that you are here with us on the show, so that we can be sure that you are getting the best from the conversation tonight. And as you join us, I can see right now Alalade Shemilore has been the only one who dropped comments. I can see 2 people. 3 more people. The number is increasing. As we continue in the conversation, the number is increasing. But please don't just join. Drop a comment in the comment section so that we can know where you're joining us. And if you're live on YouTube, you are joining us on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Like our page on YouTube. Click the notification bell so that you can always get notified of any information we're dropping on the YouTube channel. And from any part you're joining us from, whether from Ololade side or from my hand, you can always follow either of us for more interesting conversation, for more interesting content that will better your life. Thank you very much. I can see Michael. I can see Michael there. Michael, thank you for joining us on the show tonight. Yes, Michael is from Oshodi. Thank you very much. I can see you there. Thank you. And quickly, let me just add to the screen. I can see also Alalade. And there are more people joining us, but I'm yet to get their responses. I'm yet to get their comments in the comment section. Thank you very much, Afolabi. Thank you very much, Afolabi Babatunde. Yes, Afolabi Babatunde. Thank you. Yeah, that's the powerful election. Let me not go to that house right now because I'm live on the show. Thank you very much for those that are joining us. Thank you. I can see Godwin Sani. Thank you very much, Godwin Sani, for joining us tonight. And also I can see Justina Oyedeji for joining us. Yes, I can see a lot of people joining us right now. But because of our time, I hope our guest is ready for the conversation as we dive into the conversation. Please, as you join us, remember, we are live on Facebook right now. We are live on LinkedIn right now. We are also live on YouTube. Please, as you join us in the conversation tonight, drop a comment. And right now, as we dive into the conversation, remember to invite your friends because tonight we're talking about health matters, and you don't want to feel guilty of not being able to help your friend with this little information by just clicking and sharing a button. Clicking on the share button, because that information we're going to share tonight may be a life-saving information for your friend tonight. So I'm trying to encourage us to come live. Share the word, share this event right now, share this show right now, share this conversation right now with your friend. If you're live with us, it means that you have access to the link. Don't keep the secret, don't keep the information to yourself. Share and keep sharing. And as you join us, say hello to God. Show us love, please. I need to see love, that I'm loved, that Omotola is loved, that this show is a loving show. Click on those love buttons. Let's see those signs. Let's see those comments coming in as we continue with the conversation. Yes. My guest is back with us. So thank you very much, Omotola Akinwale, for doing this with us. I'm so excited to be having you. We planned this sometime early this year. We tried to reschedule, but it didn't work out. But thank God, today is another Friday and it's working out well for us. Thank you very much for joining us. So going straight to the conversation, on the audience, please, if you have questions, please drop it in the comment section. If you have any concern about your health, please drop those comments, drop those questions. Omotola is here. Naturally, if you were to have a session with Omotola, you'll be paying. But tonight, because of this conversation, you are having what? Yes, you can see Omotola is smiling because you have to pay. She gets paid per hour for the time you are spending. But tonight, you have a free session with Omotola. Thank you very much, Omotola. I know it's a nice one to have you here. It's going to be an enjoyable one. So, Omotola, please quickly tell us why you chose to do what you do as a person. I think I need to be familiar with you first before we go into the conversation. Why do you do what you do as a person?
Okay, so that is a long story, but again, let me say hello to everyone that is joining us. Thank you for joining us. You're the reason why we are here. We can't just speak to nobody. If there's nobody on the show, you are the real MVPs. Thank you for joining us. So I'll be very brief with the long story of how I got into counseling psychology. So several years ago, I had an emotional issue, and it was very difficult to be vulnerable. It was very difficult to speak out, and it seemed like nobody listened or nobody cared or nobody had that empathy. And so I had to go through life all by myself. And when I found out the benefits of, talking and listening and all of that, it just gave me a new sense of why I wanted to help people. So I got the passion from what I had experienced. So let's say that this came from what I'd experienced, and I just wanted to help every other person so that nobody had to be a loner, nobody had to go through life alone, nobody had to go through stress alone. And that was what got me into the field, in summary.
Wow. Interesting. You know why this show is very important for this week. The reason why we have to deliberately set up the show for this week. I think Sunday was just the World Suicide Day celebration, right? If I'm correct with that date. And the celebration continues throughout this week, and we're celebrating you going through that emotional distress. We're celebrating everyone going through that emotional pains, and still maintaining the sense of what being alive. And for you being alive today, it's something to actually celebrate, and it's something worth celebrating. And I'm sure Omotola will be sharing with us a little more about what you need to do to stay more healthy and keep focus even in this stressful world, especially in this economy downtime that we have. So thank you very much, Omotola. Thank you for sharing with us. Now, quickly, I like to come from the point of the definition. Every time I'm on the show with a guest, I like to have have a clear understanding from the foundation why we are doing something, especially with proper interpretation. With meaning to things that we're discussing. Now, please help us, guide us. What is stress? What is anxiety? Are these two not the same thing? Are they similar? Tell us, just quickly help us out.
Okay, so stress and anxiety are different terms, basically. There are a few similarities, but not exactly the same. So stress will be any tension, anything felt because of circumstances, because of tensed circumstances or situations, in simple terms. So stress is just basically any tension that anyone feels from demanding circumstances or situation. And that can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be sociological, it can even be environmental stress. Well, anxiety is just basic worry for future terms. Like, so someone begins to worry for the future, because anxiety is different from fear. Fear is for the present. So something happens and then you're afraid, maybe you hear a blast right now, that is fear. But anxiety is that constant worry that, concerning the future, what to do later in the future, what to eat, what to wear, and all of that. Just constantly tense about what will happen in the later time. So that's the difference. But someone doesn't necessarily have to be stressed before they experience anxiety. But anyone that is stressed, constantly stressed, might experience anxiety on the long run.
Wow, interesting. So you've heard it from Omotola, the psychologist, the specialist. We call her mental. What's her name again? Mental doctor,
Mind doctor.
Mind doctor, the mind doctor. So pardon me. So that's from the mind doctor. So as you continue to listen to us on this conversation, please invite your friends. This information we'll be getting tonight may just be a lifesaver for someone, and you don't want to be in my situation. It was a pity situation, but then there was nothing I could do. That's why this show is coming to you right now. I'm using this platform to reach out to the world, and thank God the Omotola agreed to do this with us. At Corporate Live Show with Mcaden. So thank you very much, Omotola, for that clear definition and the clearing the hair on the similarities and the differences between both situations that we human beings find ourselves. So thank you very much. So going straight to the conversation we have tonight, we have about 10 questions. I hope time will permit us to deal with each and every one of those questions as we go on. So question number 1 to Omotola. Question number 1 is, what are the unique stressors that what individuals face in today's rapid changing economic landscape?
Okay. So may I say that stressors have no exact number?
Oh,
yes.
Interesting.
Stressors have no exact number. So you can't say that this is the number of stressors and it just ends there. There are a lot of stressors, and basically I've channeled it into about I channeled it into different spaces for us to understand. So there's the intellectual stressors, there's the environmental stressors, there's the physical stressors, there's the socio-emotional stressors, Don't worry, I'm going to break it down.
All right.
Don't worry,
Yeah,
I'm
go
going
ahead,
to break
please.
it down. The intellectual stressors, like anything that has to do with the intellect, making money, sustaining a job, advancing in career, anything basically in that intellectual space. Then there's this social emotional space, and that's relationship, family. Most people ask, how do you maintain a work-life balance? That's the social emotional stressor. Then you have the environmental stressor, which I guess a lot of people are now even experiencing. The environment, we have peace and security, for example. There are places you would live in that, peace and security is a major stressor. You understand what I mean? So that's an environmental stressor. So when you think of all of these stressors, like in their little spaces, they are enough stressors to just go on and on and on and on and on. So these stressors don't have number, and all of these stressors are what individuals face. It is unique to every individual, basically, because even if you're facing an intellectual stressor, it might not be the same for A as it is for B. A might be having a stressor on the job, maybe with colleagues, and B might be having stressor on the job with finances, like you just want a better pay and all of that. So it's different for individuals, and of course stressors don't end.
All right, thank you very much. We've gotten the breakdown. So you may have environmental stressors, you may have academic stressor. Like, wow, interesting. But I have a question on the aspect of academics. So this, I'm sure this affects those in the university students per se. Can you explain or give a scenario of what actually triggers stress for them? I know that is out of line for questions we have on the list.
No, that's fine. So I was going to even say this and clarify it, because most times when people think of stress, stress on they think, oh, we want to do away with it for life. Like, never to experience stress again. That is not possible. Let me put it that way. That is not possible. It is not stress that kills. It is how you respond to stress that matters.
That's another strange one. That is a bullet. It is not stress that kills.
Yes,
please
it's
explain.
not stress that kills. Okay, so I'm on the verge of explaining.
Right.
Stress is what humans. I'm trying to use very simple terms, so I don't use very big terms that people can't understand. The reason why we know that we are human beings and why we stay alive is because of stress. So we have adrenaline pop in us when we have a situation to attend to. It just, it comes up, which makes us respond, basically. So the fact that you are stressed, or that the fact that you feel stressed, is your body telling you you're still alive and you're still breathing and you're still well. But it is how you respond to it on the long run that eventually matters. So it does not, stress in itself is not it's not a killer. It is how you respond to it. If we had time, I would have explained the different types of stress. And there's something you even call eustress. Eustress is that stress that comes from excitement. E.g., you want to plan a wedding. You'll be very excited to plan a wedding and all of that. And all the stress are just, it's just going to come up and all of that. So stress in itself, it is not bad. It is not bad. It is how it is responded to. And that is why it is the response to stress that should be highlighted, basically.
All right, thank you very much, Omotola. Thank you. I'm so glad we're doing this, and the conversation is getting tense, and I can see some comments. Okay, we have more people joining us. I can see A good friend of mine is joining us right now. Good evening, Adeniyi. Thank you very much. That is coming from Ceci Undane. Ceci Undane is saying good evening and
Hello,
saying good
guys.
evening to you too. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Let's go on to the conversation. Let's go on with our questions. Yes, we now understand that stress must will always be there, so you can't eliminate stress. So, I'm just curious to ask. So, what happened at the point where I don't have any reason to have any stress in my life? Can it be a time like that? Is there anything possible? Just a yes or no, so that we can go straight to the next question.
That's death.
Is that death?
That is death.
That is death.
Yes.
Wow,
That's
interesting. That is death. And no one is praying for death right now. So if you are praying for a stress-free life, then you are saying, death, please come along.
You just want to rest, like forever rest.
All right. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next question. I do hope time keeps slow to the pace of our program and the conversation as we continue tonight. Question number 2 is about how can you can you explain the relationship between chronic stress, anxiety, and physical health problems? So, what are the relationship between these three? And just give us a clear, distinctive information about these three situations or conditions of life for human.
Okay, so they are very related and they're very interwoven, although they are very separate in themselves. Like chronic stress is separate, anxiety is separate, physical health problems separate. So you could have physical health problems just spring up from maybe genetics or eating habits and every other thing. And you know, chronic stress is just the long-term stress that has piled up over time. It's like having a pile of clothes and you just have stress upon stress upon stress upon stress upon stress. That is chronic stress. Now, anxiety, like I mentioned before, is just fear of the unknown, thinking for the future and projecting things for the future. Now, the thing with chronic stress is when someone is stressed over time, before you know it begins to bring anxiety. And anxiety actually causes physical health problems such as rapid breathing, hypertension, high blood pressure. And you know, a lot of people basically think that because they are not even seeing the physical symptoms, then there's nothing wrong with them. As little as excessive sweating, if you get so anxious that you start seeing that you're sweating all the time, not the kind of sweat I'm having now. This is just because I'm talking. But you're just really afraid to speak. You're just afraid to think about the future and all of that. That kind of worry. It is anxiety, and it has its own physical symptoms. So they are very much related. And doctors have even found out that about 75% of medical health problems that people have is basically emotional. So what you are even thinking, how you are thinking, chronic stress, when you have stress and you're not dealing with it properly, you begin to have migraines, you begin to lose appetite, you begin to have a lot of things that that physically affects the body. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Why?
Okay. So you begin to have things that physically affect the body. So physical health problems most of the time, feeling a lot tired, feeling really down, loss of appetite, insomnia. Insomnia, by the way, is little or no sleep, or hypersomnia, or sleeping too much, reduced fatigue, and all of that. All of it is can be traced back to stress, chronic stress, or anxiety, basically.
Interesting. Thank you very much. So you've heard from the doctor, the mind doctor has spoken, and she has given us.
That people don't think I am a doctor.
Well, on this show right now, for me, you're the doctor. Please permit me to refer to her as a doctor. So thank you very much, Omotola, for this, for that information. So going straight to the next question, how can individual differentiate between health stress that motivates and chronic stress that harms? Because you said some stress are good.
Yes. Yeah. So I mentioned something like stress the other time. A kind of stress that, because you have to do something. Maybe you have a brand that you're launching soon and all of that, and you just put all the energy to work and all of that. That is healthy stress. You know that, okay, it's for this time being. But chronic stress that harms, like I said previously, you begin to tell on your body. You begin to see symptoms. You begin to feel symptoms. E.g., you have constant headaches. You lose appetite. You sleep less or sleep more. I've mentioned that. You forget things. Yes, forgetfulness. No matter how little, you're supposed to do something and then you forget. It's a way of your brain trying to tell you that, you need some rest. And sometimes as human beings, we forget that we're not machines. Even machines take rest. So the body has a way of rejuvenating, and when you constantly push it beyond limits, it tries to forcefully get that. So if the headache is trying to tell you that, you've not had enough sleep. The loss of appetite is trying to tell you that, you're not taking care, you're not giving me the nutrients that I need. So it is very important once you start to cite all those symptoms, as little as they are, even as little as dehydration. You can just go hours without drinking water. I mean, if possible, just put an alarm on your phone to just continually remind you to drink water, because that one in its own alone, once you continually get dehydrated, is a way of ridding your body of nutrients, of the nutrients that it needs.
Thank you very much. At some point you mentioned something that even concerns me. There was a certain time I was feeling, I think I was forgetting things. The same day, the same information I gathered, the same day I've forgotten. I even skip breakfast. I skip lunch because I was under the pressure of doing something, and those are enjoyable stress anyway. But then they have impact on the body system. Thank you very much.
It sure has impact on the body system eventually. And let me talk about that breakfast thing, because I'm an advocate for breakfast eating. Because I realize that most Nigerians don't eat breakfast, and I'm like, why? You can just take an apple. You can just take an apple for breakfast. Like, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. The doctors bring it to people, but they don't understand it, why it is important. Maybe when you understand why it is important, it is because you leave your body running on fuel. And the fuel, you're not even giving it. You're making it run from a reserve, except you're fasting or except it is prescribed for you. Breakfast is in fact more important than lunch and dinner. It is important because once you continually push the body beyond its limits, I have a slogan. It says, "I will live long and I will live well." That is, living long is different from living well. I want to be 80 and not have amnesia. I don't want to, and that is why I'm going to live long and I'm going to live well. But living well starts from now. Like, it starts from now. It starts with what you actually do with the body, because if you constantly push the body beyond limits, get used to it, and it's eventually going to tell. So let me just keep that there.
It will eventually tell on the body. It will eventually tell on the body. That's something you are right about anyway. I discovered that very, very late in my professional, in my career journey. So I figure at the point that I'm more productive when I eat breakfast, unlike when I don't take breakfast. So it's just like you said, it's like driving a car out of the compound without checking the fuel gauge. So that's the issue for not taking breakfast. So thank you very much. I think I can see some comments in the comment section. Okay, I can see also fishermen. I can see a lot of people that I'm familiar with joining us on the show. Thank you very much. He said, God bless. Yes, God bless you, Omotola, for sharing those insightful, those knowledge, those
God bless you too.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Omotola is saying, God bless you all. So thank you very much. Or please, as you listen on this conversation right now, share with your friends. Let them join us. And as you join us, please, the only way I can get to know if you're joining us right now is if you decide to what? To drop a comment so that I can get to know. And please, for those of us that are watching us right now live, please share your share your love. Share love now, please. Now share love. I beg. Please drop a love notification, your likes button, and share this live session so that more people can join us on the conversation. It's about health, and it's very important that everyone becomes healthy. Otherwise, if you think you are healthy and someone that you know is not healthy, it may come back to you. So thank you very much. So let's move on with the conversation. Let's move on with the questions. Let's move on with what we have for you guys. So if you have questions as we continue with the conversation, please drop your questions. So our guests, remember, if you have a session with her, you are paying. But today is a free session with her. Yes. So the next question is: are there specific techniques or therapies that are proven effective in reducing workplace-related anxiety? Because we know that a lot of anxieties, and the reason why we're emphasizing on this particular question is because we're dealing with professionals and entrepreneurs that are actually here in this part of the world, in this country of ours, Nigeria. You know, somebody said something: if you can survive in Nigeria, you can survive anywhere else because of the kind of stress lifestyle we was. All right, let me allow you answer the question, Omotola.
Okay, so there's specific techniques and therapies basically, but I'm just going to mention one and focus on that because for the purpose of this live session today. So one of the techniques that works best for anxiety and stress is, especially for anxiety and any other mental health issues, depression, suicide, and the like, is called cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy, that is CBT. And what is CBT basically? In simple terms, CBT is just helping an individual recognize their negative thought patterns, making them realize it, and help them, through it basically. So it helps you recognize negative thought patterns and how it affects your emotions and behavior. So CBT is very, very good for stress and anxiety. And trust me, all this that I've been saying right now, I spoke to you and then you understand the benefit of eating breakfast. That is CBT. That is helping you understand why this is negative and how it is affecting, your emotions and your behavior basically. This works, and not just in the workplace, it works for everything basically. It works for everything, especially for anxiety. There's something I talk about, the fear of tomorrow. Basically, yes, it is good to plan. Yes, it's good to think about tomorrow. But when anxiety becomes, overly excessive, you're even cutting the tomorrow shorter, because the tomorrow that you're probably thinking, oh, how is it going to be like? How is it going to be? You're cutting it down due to anxiety because it affects the body, especially the heart. So I'll just keep it at that.
All right. So you've heard from the doctor, don't affect tomorrow. And the tomorrow that you're working for, the tomorrow you're working with the hope of what? Enjoying can be cut short. I think part of the content I shared was also related to that, because you think you are a Superman and you think you want to work today so that you can enjoy tomorrow, and don't take care of the body. The body may be too weak to actually enjoy the reward you have for tomorrow. So please, that's the essence of this conversation.
Can I quickly chip in a story? And
okay, go ahead, please.
Was some years back when I used to work on the island. Those who stay in Lagos, the highland, the mainland, and I lived on the mainland, in one far part of the mainland. I don't want to mention, but the farthest part of the mainland. Okay. Those who are on the mainland,
those areas.
Yes, those kind of areas. I lived there, and I would leave the house at 4 a.m. in the morning. 4 a.m. in the morning. I would, come back around 11 p.m. In fact, I got home once at 1 a.m. because of the heavy traffic. And one day, I just heard that someone had slumped, and the person was rushed to the hospital. And before you know it, the physical health was deteriorating. And I just told myself, no, you're not going to do this. Not because you want to, not because I didn't need that job at that time, but I understood what impact it was going to have on the long run. And sadly, a lot of people are on that table. Work and neglect, the body. And as at that time, it was always, in traffic, people that had not eaten since morning, their first meal of the day will be, I don't want to call brands, that flour meal that they sell on the highway during traffic, and carbonated drinks. I don't want to mention brands, basically, and that would be the first thing for the day, and still impacting the body in a very negative manner. So it just opened my eyes to know this the job is important, but I'm more important than the job, and the rest of my life is more important than the entirety of the job, basically. So it's one thing that people need to understand, that when it comes to managing your body, people will tell me sometimes, I'm like, no, I can never rest. It's when people die that they eventually rest. And I say something, I say you can actually bring the death date closer because of how you treat your body. You don't have to bring it closer. You don't have to have things to to really trigger it. A lot of people are on this table, sitting on this table, because sometimes when you hear that people slumped or they slept and didn't wake up, a lot of people wonder, but this person was fine. No, the person wasn't fine. Basically, person wasn't fine. There have been stressors that have been, continually ignored. The person wasn't fine at all. So it's important that you pay attention, and this has nothing to do with just time. If you have to do a job for just a period of time to ensure that you rest, and to ensure that you recuperate or something, please do, because trust me, the job will continue to remain even after you're gone. So nobody is indispensable.
All right, thank you very much. The job is important, but you are more important. I shared this story this morning about a friend of mine, and if you can just go back to LinkedIn or Facebook page, you read about the story. Because of our time, I don't want to go there. It's actually
I saw it, and it was a very sad story. Yes, a very sad one, I must say.
Writing it for me was also very sad, because it brings the memory of how she would call me, please Macarthy, and help us, and I'm like, nobody is calling me like that in that office again. So, well, that's a sad story anyway, and I don't want us to dwell there. Thank you very much, all of you watching us right now. Yeah, all of you watching that. Yeah, thank you. So for those of us that are watching, please share this information with your friends. I don't want to say that anymore, so that it doesn't seem like I'm overflowing on the importance of this conversation, but it's very important that everyone listen to what we are sharing tonight. And thank you very much, Fishers of Maine. Thank you very much. He's saying amen to our prayer. I think that was our early prayer. I really appreciate your efforts and counsel. So thank you. That is to you, Doctor. Omotola, that is for you, I think.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Fishers of Maine. Thank you very much.
Okay, we also have here Oyedele Ebenezer. Thank you very much for your greetings, and Omotola is also extending his greetings to you. So thank you very much, everyone. Please, as you listen, let's drop a comment if you have questions for Omotola. Remember, I told you earlier on, this is an opportunity for you to escape that bill that we will have come to you if you have taken a trip to our office. So tonight it's free session for you with Omotola. Thank you very much, Omotola, for doing it. So let's quickly move on to the next question. Our time is fast spent. I do hope we'll be able to cover as many of those questions that we have here. So just be very precise with the response to this question, so we can continue with the conversation. So moving on to the next question. Question 5 is what are the potential consequences of neglecting stress management in a competitive job market? Omotola, can you hear me? Okay, I think I lost Omotola there. I hope she recovers back from her network. And the network is overstressed. I guess that's the problem right now. The network is overstressed. And if you are joining us right now, remember this is a conversation with Omotola, and she has been doing so well, so wonderful, that she even made a video for us while we're trying to publicize this show. And let's just quickly take a look at that video once again. I think I just love to hear.
I'm a counseling psychologist and a mental health coach. I'll be a guest at the Corporate Life Show with Adeniyi Macarthy this Friday, 15th September 2023. I'll be discussing managing stress and anxiety for optimal well-being in this new economy. You wouldn't want to miss it. Please join us this Friday. It promises to be exciting and interesting. See you there.
All right, Omotola is back. Thank you very much. See you there, and we are here with you, Omotola. We are here with you. So we are here.
Thank you for joining
so we're
us.
going nowhere. So the question 5 now, quickly. I know you have a network issue. So it
Yes, I
happens a
did.
lot of time. Yeah. So please, can you quickly answer question 5 so that we can move on, please?
Okay, the potential consequences of neglecting stress management in the competitive job market. Basically, so stress affects a lot, but when it comes to the job market, basically, we have low performance. There is no how that stress is not going to affect performance, and it affects performance in various ways. It could come as forgetfulness, it could come as low energy, like you just don't have the energy to perform tasks, and it could come as making excuses. Oh, I will do it later. Procrastination. That could be a behavioral problem, and it could also be due to stress. So when it is due to stress, you will know that you usually don't procrastinate, but you just don't have that energy to want to do something right there and then, and so you want to push it up for later. And the job market now is now highly competitive, that having a low performance cannot be excused. Also, it will lead to communication problems, because when you're stressed, you're going to be very irritable. You're not going to be so pleasant to be with. So in the job market, nobody wants to be with an unpleasant person, especially if you deal with jobs that you have to deal with people. I mean, you're dealing with people and you're constantly stressed. You have no business dealing with people, because that transfer of aggression, irritability, everything will be poured out and lashed out to them, and it could cause costly mistakes. So stress cannot be underemphasized when it comes to job markets, because this consequence is there. It is really there. Take for instance, I am a therapist and all of that, and most times I'm more particular about the person I am dealing with. So when I know that, oh, my schedule is so tight and I've had a back-to-back schedule that didn't give room for rest, I take the rest, because it is important that I carry out my job effectively. And because the consequences are there, you don't want to, not listen properly, or not pay attention, or not be empathetic and all of that. And not just on my job, but every kind of job. Even if you're an entrepreneur and you are into business and all of that, it is very important, because forgetting to take stock, or forgetting what numbers that you're supposed to put in the money money, accounts, and all of that, is very, very essential that you pay attention to these things to avoid their consequences.
Okay, thank you very much. You've heard that. You avoid stress as much as possible. Otherwise, you will be less competitive in the job market. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Omotola, for sharing that. And then quickly moving forward with the next question. Please, audience, don't keep back. I mean, come forward, come at Omotola. She's here for you for free tonight. If I were in this session, well, these are my questions for you anyway. So if I were in this session and I'm not the one asking the question, I'm definitely sure that I would have bombarded you with questions that you will not even be able to answer the host question. So I'm using this opportunity to encourage you guys. Please don't drop those questions for Omotola. Free session. Mental doctor is here. Free session for you. All right. Going on with my own question anyway. I have a list of questions, 10 of them for you. And so now we are going to tackle each of them.
Number 6.
Number 6. How do digital age and constant connectivity impact stress level and overall well-being? Yeah, because a lot of researchers are going towards the path as to how this digitalization also affect human and how it stresses us instead of helping us. So people will say tech is supposed to be an enabler, but it's also stressing us. I don't understand. Please help us. Thank you.
Okay, there's supposed to be a balance, and for this one, I just have a very short answer. Basically, this digital age is making us lose touch with social connectivity.
That's another one. Social connectivity.
So, yes, social connectivity, and that's important because most of the time, if you're on a bus, like, and you see most people distracted with something, basically one thing, that and thing you call a phone. Everybody is, you're in touch with the world, but not in touch with the world. You're in touch with the world. I say that again. You're in touch with the world, but not in touch with the world. So you have a lot of, a lot of activities to keep you busy, to make you laugh, to, keep your mind busy all the time. But then there's still loneliness to deal with. There's still social interactions that you need to build, consciously build. I mean, all the time. You see a lot of people, they just, I just want to be on my space. Like, no, I just want to be alone. Once I just have my phone, I'm good, I'm fine. What that does is that it makes, social interaction is actually needed as a stress relief. So, I'll give you an example. There are hormones in the body called happy hormones that we as individuals, we elicit, especially when we see things that we love and people that we love. And those hormones, most times, they just come, you see your best friend, you see your spouse, you see your mom or your dad, whoever it is that you love, there's just this excitement. In fact, sometimes when some people are not feeling fine, they just ask them, who is the closest person to you? Let the person just, come and take care of you, because that on its own, I want to use this word for in quotes, basically, is like a healing medicine rather. So this digital age just makes people, you left work to go home to work. It's just a triangular life and all of that, before because we as human beings, we are social people. We are created to be social. You can't just stay on your own. You can't be a loner. You can't be self-made. I'm sorry. You can't be self-happy. You can be self-happy, but you can't overall be self-happy. So it is very important to take that into cognizance. Meet people, make friends. Like, I know that people too will always be human, but don't just rely all on technology. How much can technology do on the long run? It's just really little.
All right. Thank you very much. You know, when you say don't rely on technology, I just remember something that someone very close to me shared with me this morning. She was saying something around the personal AI and the way technology has built personal AI. She told me how she was chatting with personal AI as though she was chatting with human being. I was like, okay, AI will get to that level, yes, but there are some things that you won't be able to still do with the AI. And you won't be able to throw balls at each other playing. If you are talking to an AI, yeah, you can have that conversation. But that emotional feeling, I think I also had a conversation with a personal AI, and he can't describe feelings. I mean,
so when you can't have conversations, because with AI you have to have conversations. Who just looks at you and just tells you that something is wrong? The way I just saw Tola now, the way she's not smiling, AI can't do that.
Yes.
So it's when you are actually even conversing that you both can talk, right? So who looks at you and just says, you will need food to come to your table today, or you just look hungry. I'm sorry. I know that technology has done a lot, but that can't do it in a whole lot of things. I'm an advocate for social interactions because I understand what it means for social interactions to build your emotional stability. There's a lot. Who is there for you when all chips are down? If there's nobody there, go and start building profitable relationships. And I don't even mean just for romantic relationship stakes, not just for romantic relationship stakes, but profitable relationship stakes. Know people older than you, know people younger than you, know people your age, and interact with them, because it will save you a lot. Who speaks for you when all chips are down? I mean, you will understand when people speak for you and say, I can vouch for you. I know that this person will be this. I'm sorry, AI cannot do that. The highest AI will do is to listen to your pain.
Listen to you. Listen to you, but it can't feel with you. All right, thank you very much. This is not an AI session tonight, and this is you managing your stress and anxiety. And this is Omotola discussing. The Mind Doctor is discussing this with us tonight, and I think I have some comments in the comment box. Thank you very much. I think I can see a few other people joining us. Jeremiah Emikaye is joining us. Thank you. Amazing session, he said, and interesting session on Jerry Kai Consulting. So thank you very much, Jeremiah, for joining us tonight, and thank you everyone that have joined us. Please keep dropping those comments. I wish I can get questions from us so that I can post my own question and take your questions to Omotola. Thank you very much. Let's quickly move on straight to the questions that we have left. Remember, this is Corporate Live Show with Mcaden. We do this every Friday evening where we bring in professionals, in their area of specialization, to talk to us about topics that relate to what they do every day. So we are not bringing someone to come and talk with to us on matters from books. No, we are bringing specialized individuals to talk to us and encourage us and help us to become a better version of ourselves. This is what we want to achieve with the show at the Corporate Life Show with Mcaden. So tonight is no exception. We've been doing so well with that, and the conversation has been so sweet. Just moving on to the next question quickly. I do hope in the next 15 minutes we can handle the rest of the question. Omotola, please, pardon me. The next question is, are there mindfulness exercises or relaxation practices that can be integrated into a busy work day? Because especially if you live in Lagos, there was this day. Sorry, I'm laughing ahead, but as I want to say what I'm saying, it reminds me of
Lagos.
Of how funny it is. Somebody said, if you can live in Lagos in Nigeria, you don't need to go to hell again. You automatically got a ticket because you've done your time. You've done your time on earth in Lagos. So Lagos is a stressful life on its own. So, and I have a couple of friends that say they can never come to Lagos. No, not for me. All right, so let me allow you answer that question.
Okay, so mindfulness exercises. For those who don't understand what mindfulness is, mindfulness exercise is just making sure that you are in the present, because most of the time we are doing something presently but we are not in it. So mindfulness is just to help your mind come into the realization that you are currently doing something, and that is what you're doing currently. So there are mindfulness exercises, but for tips that can be included into busy work day. I tell a lot of professionals that relaxation and mindfulness is not something you do because you have time, or it's not something you push aside that, I don't have time. No. You don't relax because you don't have time or because you have time. It is because your body needs it. You see the way that you eat, and you don't create time to eat. You just eat because hunger tells you it is time to eat. That is the same way you should relax.
Interesting.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, please. Only that you're calm. Okay, I can hear you. I can hear and see you.
Okay. So it's the same way that one should, relax. You don't 60 seconds is enough for you. 3 minutes is enough for you. I'm telling you. And it's not something that would, that you cannot do. It now depends on which one works for you. E.g., listening to music. You don't need to create time to do that one. It is soothing, it is calm. I mean, you can listen to music and your brain, it just calms down. Music is therapeutic. Another one is dancing. Dancing just helps you as a way of, relieving the body of, every tensed up emotion, every tensed up thing. There's even something called dance therapy, releasing emotions through dance. That's simple. You don't need to create time for it. I said something during a training with some professionals, and I said to them, as little as it is that you put your feet in cold water, like you just sit down and put your feet in cold water and just sit down, and you're probably watching TV or something. It's relaxing. You don't need to create time.
I've not done that before.
You don't need to have. Yes, it is. You should try it. It's very relaxing.
I'm going to try it.
Relaxing.
I'm going to try it.
Very, very, very calming. It has very calming effect that you just put your feet in cold water and you're just, seated and just calm. It just really calms you down. As little as sleep. A lot of people want to overwork and not have the required number of sleep. I mean, statistically, a human being can survive no food, no water, better than no sleep. So it tells you how vital sleep is.
Thank you very much.
Can you still hear and see me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes,
I can hear you.
It tells you how vital sleep is. So all of this, you don't need time. No, you don't need time. You do it because your body needs it. Good food, eating healthy. I know most times when I talk about eating healthy, most people think, that is expensive. And I said something to some professionals that I trained recently. I said to them, how much is a bottle of carbonated drink? They told me the amount. How much is an apple in the market? And they told me the amount, and they said, apple is expensive. I said, no. It is actually because you feel that you don't need it. That is why I said, but it's actually the same price. Because when you think about it, it's because you probably think, you don't need it, that's why it's expensive. Like if I buy it, but how many carbonated drinks have you taken in a week? Do the math. It is the same. It is just you putting priorities on things that are needed for your body, for your health. And food, healthy food, can even help combat those stressors a lot of time. Even medical practitioners will tell you that, for medication, some medication or most medications have side effects. When you're treating, when something can be treated with food or healthy food, it is far better than going for medication. So it is very important that you just take it to mind that these things are very easy to do. Very, very easy to do.
All right. Thank you very much. Very, very easy to do. Very, very easy to do. That's what Omotola is telling us. And then be intentional. Intentionality is another word for that. And when you do it consciously. Do it consciously. Thank you very much, Omotola. Thank you very much. Quickly going to the next question. Next question we have to knock off this conversation for tonight. Thank you very much. The next question is, what roles does self-care play in combating stress and promoting resilience in the workplace? Yes, the workplace can be tough, it can be very stressful. So how do you think we handle this?
Can be a lot.
Okay, I like
so
that.
self-care plays a very good role. Yes, it does a lot. Self-care plays a very big role, but nowadays a lot of people don't even know the difference between self-care and selfishness, so they mix it together, because any little thing now, all we hear is my mental health, and you're putting other people in trouble. So when it comes to self-care, it's just basically Can you still hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Omotola, I can hear you.
Can you still hear and see me?
I can hear you, but not see you at the moment. You are frozen on my screen. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I think we lost Omotola there. And she's taking care of herself, and I'm sure the network will do a favor to make sure that she's well taken care of. And still on the conversation tonight, it's been a nice conversation. It's been an interesting conversation. Yes, we've shoot beyond our usual time for the conversation tonight because of the peculiarity of this conversation, because of how important it is for us to discuss these things that we're discussing tonight. And there is no way we can live healthy. There's no way you can be productive in life if you don't take good care of yourself. If you don't take good care of yourself, you need to live healthy. And every problem actually starts from the mind. Everything in existence starts from the mind. So it is for every problem. Most problems start from the mind. Getting worried, not being able to think right on how to take care of yourself. Those are also effects of, ways of impacting the mind negatively and indirectly the body. So invariably the body will be affected, and then there will be problems that we warrant want to visit the clinic. So tonight we've been discussing this matter, managing stress and anxiety for optimal well-being in the new economy. This conversation is already 1 hour plus, and we're still on it. We still have about 2 questions left. I do hope Omotola can return back to the show on time. But then, if you are watching us right now, if you have been watching us, and you are new here on the studio with us, you are new on the show with us, this is Coupling Live with Mcaden. We do this every Friday evening. We discuss, we have fantastic conversations every Friday where we discuss different things that affect you as a professional, different things that can help you grow as a professional, different things that can actually aid you in your business as a professional, whatever your endeavor may be, different things that can be of help to you. So tonight is about health, and we're looking at health from the angle of stress. And we've been talking about different things that you can do. We've asked a series of questions, and I'm still expecting questions from as many of us that are watching us right now. Please drop a comment. Let's get to know what your question is. And if you're just joining us right now, you've not been with us for a while, please drop a comment in the comment section. Let's get to know what your question is. Let's get to know where you're joining us from first. And if you can go forward with your question, we will appreciate that too. and it's gonna be your questions will be tweeted, will be answered appropriately. Thank you very much. Our guest is here, is back on the show. Thank you very much, Omotola, for coming back. Thank you. So let me quickly allow you to answer the question. We are on the 8th question. What roles does self-care play in combating stress and promoting resilience in the workplace? That's what you were answering. Okay, Omotola, can you hear me, please? I think we've lost Omotola again. The network is not being friendly with her. I mean, from my hand there. Omotola, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can. Very much.
Okay. All right. So let me allow you to quickly answer question 8 before we go on because of our time.
Yeah, so self-care plays a lot of role in combating stress because you have to pay attention to yourself and make yourself important, but not at the expense of other people. So it is self-care, not selfish care. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It is self-care, but not selfish care. That's the word. That word strikes. It strikes a lot, and
because proper self-care actually.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Proper self-care builds stronger interpersonal relationships. That's why I said not selfish care. Because if it's not building, if it's not building stronger interpersonal relationship, then it's not self-care because it has to also build your emotion. It's self-care improves happiness, it reduces burnout, it reduces anxiety and depression basically. So when it is done properly, I had to put that because the first question a lot of people ask me when it comes to mental health is now everybody's shouting my mental health. So what I think about the other person's mental health, and I'm like, there's a balance, especially when it comes to self-care. Yes. Balance.
Wow, interesting. Create the balance. Don't be selfish. And take care of yourself. Thank you very much. Quickly moving on to the next question. Question number 9 as we wrap up the conversation for the show tonight. It's been a wonderful one. Omotola has been doing so well with us here, giving us back to back each of those questions with appropriate responses. Thank you very much, Omotola, for doing this with us for the show tonight. And question number 9 says, can you provide tips for setting realistic career goals to reduce anxiety related to performance expectations?
Okay, so I would have loved to say step number 1, tip number 2, tip number 3, and all of that. But I just have just one tip. And because you said realistic, and I love being realistic, and so it's just one tip. The one tip is to understand where you are, where you're going, and take every bit from where you are to where you are going with every capacity that you have at time. It's where you're going, you're futuristic with it. You want to have, the career goals that are big, excellent, amazing, and all of that. But don't do that at the expense of where you currently are. Just know how to navigate point A to point B. And if it's just a little step you can take, don't stretch your capacity beyond what it is. If you need to build more capacity, build it. Mentally, economically, socially, you need to build it. Because in certain career goals, if you just set career goals that affect every other part of your life, you're eventually going to suffer for it. You're eventually going to pay for those things you neglected at the expense of what you tried to build. And it's so capacity per time is basically necessary. If you know that, I was jokingly telling somebody today who told me, he wanted another job, and I just laughed. I said, do you have capacity for it? And what I meant was, do you even have the time for it? You want to manage a job with another job. I understand you, but do you have the time for it? Is your 24 hours even enough for you to manage every other thing that you want to manage? And there was no answer, basically, because a lot of times we want to do things fine. It's good to project ahead. It's good to, something, want more, basically, but you should put into cognizance the capacity that you have per time. That's the only realistic step that I have to give.
Interesting. That reality and that realistic point is actually the best option for us to work with right now as a professional, so that you don't overwork yourself to get yourself to a position where instead of you pushing someone is pushing you. And that is not a place we want to find ourselves. And that is one of the essence of this conversation anyway. And I think if that is the only thing you are taking out of the conversation for tonight's show, that is very important for you to take very good care of. Take hold on it. Carefully, and work with that ideology. Thank you very much, Omotola. Thank you very much. Lastly, as we wrap up the conversation tonight, is question number 10. Yes, it's question number 10, and we are talking about how can employers. Now we're talking about, because this is corporate life show. Yes, how can employers create supportive work environment that addresses the mental health needs of their employees? It seems like most organizations are less concerned about this. What do you have to say about this question?
Actually, I don't think it's just organizations, because individuals run organizations. So if individuals,
you get it there.
Run organizations, and if individuals actually prioritize mental health, basically, they would understand the importance of it in the workplace. And I'll commend some organizations who are beginning to come to terms with mental health and how it affects their workers, and they're incorporating that into the workspace already, creating supportive work environments, basically, first thing first. And I think it's something that the Nigerian culture doesn't understand. You have to work for money. You have to work for every bit of money that you get, and that is not a healthy thing in the workplace, basically, because overworking people or making them pay for what they are being paid for, it's more like making them tax burden bearers. They're just bearing burdens and as tax masters. So creating a supportive environment first. Overworking has to be out of the list, and there has to be companies and organizations have to readily incorporate, foster social relationships out of work experience. Game nights, cinema nights, and all of that, just outside the workplace, for people to, even just relax and talk about things outside the workplace. Because for most people, 247 is just around the job alone. So those kind of activities will foster relaxation, calmness, and all of that. It will even reduce toxicity the more. And also, mental health training cannot be underemphasized. And in mental health training, booking therapy sessions for professionals or employees, or inviting a therapist or a psychologist or a medical practitioner to come talk on things that affect employees and all of that, so that they can have this optimal productivity. Because if the mind is affected, every other thing is affected, basically. So I'll just leave it at that.
If the mind is affected, if the mind is affected, every other thing, especially productivity, will be affected. So thank you. That's the word I want to get from that conversation. And to wrap up the show, what do you have to say to us? I mean, to the audience that are watching us right now. And I think I still have some few people still watching us right now live and direct. And those that will be watching us later on, please drop a comment. Remember, we are also live on YouTube. You can search us on YouTube, Corporate Live with Mcaden, Corporate Live Show with Mcaden. So watch us on YouTube. We are also live on Facebook. We're live also on LinkedIn Live. I mean, we're live on multiple platforms at the same time. But then if you're still just joining us right now, drop a comment in the comment section. Let's get to know where you are watching us from. That's the only way we can identify with you. But then the last word for our audience, Omotola, what would that be to them tonight for tonight's show?
The last word for the audience is please prioritize yourself above every other thing. I mean, above every other thing. I mean, every other aspect of life, basically, because you need yourself to function properly with family, with your job, and every other thing, even in the environment. Don't put yourself last, because you are actually the important equation in everything. So please pay attention to every part of you that needs attention, especially your mind.
Especially your mind. I like that. I love that. That sounds better. That sounds interesting, especially your mind. And that is a wrap for the show tonight. This is Corporate Live Show with Mcaden, and with me on the show in the studio tonight has been Omotola Akiwale, the person we refer to as the mind doctor. Yes, you are the mind doctor. So permit me to refer to you as the doctor. So the conversation has been interesting. Yes, we had a lot of people who joined us on far and wide, and let me just quickly do a recap. If I can still lay my hands on that, I hope I can still do that. A lot of people, quite a number of people joined us on the show tonight. But from the beginning of the conversation, I had Aladeshi Milore, then I have Michael Gatem, I have Afolabi Babatunde, I have Godwin Sani, I have Justina Oyedeji Yahanai in the conversation tonight. Cecile Deng joined us in the conversation tonight. Thank you very much, everyone. And the Fishers of Men also joined us. Then we had Oyedele Ebenezer who joined us also. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And Jeremiah Mikai also joined us. And these are the people that were able to drop comment that I can see here in the studio. There are other comments that I may not be able to see based on the platform we're using to stream live to all across all platforms right now. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Next week is going to be another interesting conversation. We'll be talking about something very important. This is Corporate Life Show, and we'll be talking about things that really affect you. But before we go tonight, guess what we're going to say? We're going to say a very big thank you to Omotola. Thank you very much for doing this with us, and then from all of us at Corporate Life Show, we're saying a very big thank you. We're clapping for you. Thank you, Omotola. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing this with us. Thank you. Thank you. It's been an honor to have you. It's been an interesting one to have you. So thank you very much, Omotola. So we want to say a big thank you, and to everyone that participated in the conversation tonight, we say bye-bye from here and have a great night to you all. Bye-bye.